What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? My name is Jon Dawson, and in today's video, we are hopping into another 2022 fantasy football mock draft. Today's draft, we are running through Yahoo's platform. This was requested by our loyal subscriber, Made4TV _. Of course, if you guys have any mock draft requests, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I will get them on the queue and recorded for you guys. Before we hop into today's content, I do kindly ask that you guys go ahead and smash that like button down below, and of course hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Come join the Catch family on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Like I said, guys, feel free to drop any mock draft requests down below, as well as any comments, questions, concerns pertaining to the 2022 fantasy football season. Be sure to join our Discord down below. At the moment, we are running a free subscriber mock draft nearly every single day of the week, and without further ado, this mock draft is kicking off. So drafting from 1.66 overall selection, I'll be targeting a running back right at that 6 overall spot. So we've got Najee Harris ranked at 7 overall through Yahoo. I mean, I love Harris at pick 6, and then going into pick 15, I'm going to go with the best available receiver, even if we have to quote unquote reach a little bit against ADP. I don't mind going Mike Evans at pick 15 overall, but I like CeeDee Lamb right in that range as well. But we'll kind of sit back here and see what happens as we've got JT selected off of the board. No surprise there at 1.1. Derrick Henry goes at 1.2. Eckler gone at 1.3. So really no surprise there. 3 great running backs to start the draft. Then we got Kupp off the board at 1.4, and the 5th overall selection coming up here in just a second. And like I said, I think we are going to be able to land Najee Harris pretty easily. I mean, I like the upside of Christian McCaffrey, who just got selected. I mean, McCaffrey, if he was available at 6, I don't really have an issue going there as well. I like Dalvin Cook as well. Mixon's a good option, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll with Najee Harris. I think he's going to get a ton of touches. All right, so like I said, coming into the second round with the 15th overall selection, we're going to be going for a receiver. I really like the strategy of what I call a bounce back strategy, switching between the running back position and the receiver position. I think in 10 and 12-man leagues, this specific strategy really builds some good rosters. So I'm going to continue to roll with this strategy when I am drafting in 10 and 12-man leagues until something changes in the offseason that convinces me to do otherwise. All right, DeAndre Swift's gone. Jamar Chase finishes out the first round. We only have 3 receivers off the board in the first round. So Kupp, JJ, and Jamar Chase. As we move into the second round, we got Joe Mixon off of the board. Devontae Adams is gone. Travis Kelce and Nick Chubb all gone. So Stephon Diggs, for some reason, is hanging around. There's no way and heck I am not taking Stephon Diggs off the board there. What a beautiful selection there. Najee Harris and Diggs to start this draft. I absolutely love it. So one note on the specific mock draft strategy, right? Switching between running back and receivers. We do want to keep an eye on the tight end position and the quarterback position, and just let a QB of value fall to us at the right point in the draft, as well as the tight end position. So we'll be keeping an eye out on some certain tiers at both positions, but I don't think we really need to worry about it until we probably see Kyle Pitts go, and then probably Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert for the quarterback position. So we'll hold off at the moment and just continue to focus on running backs and receivers. But just keep in mind, we aren't going to necessarily go for a late round QB and tight end. We're going to keep an eye on certain tiers and draft a quarterback and tight end that make us comfortable. All right, so the second round finishes out with Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Leonard Fournette, Alvin Kamara, and Aaron Jones. And into the third round we go. Let's take a look here at what running backs are hanging around as we are up in 5 selections. I would love to see Saquon Barkley fall out to us. I like Zeke's value as well as David Montgomery's value here, but really the guy that stands out to me is James Conner. You guys know I've been super high on James Conner all off season long. I like him just a tad bit more than Elliott and Montgomery, and I know that Barkley probably holds the best upside out of those backs, but for me personally, Conner is just that guy. And there goes Saquon Barkley. I mean, he's really, if Barkley's there, I'm going to have a tough decision to make if I want to take that dart throw at upside, but I'm going to go James Conner with this selection undoubtedly, and I'm happy about it. I really don't pay attention to ADP, and we're seeing so many different ADPs across so many different platforms. I mean, Connor is much, much higher up on ESPN's rankings, on Sleepers rankings, so I don't mind taking him as my third round selection whatsoever. I think he's a great value right there. All right, so we do have our first quarterback off the board in Josh Allen, and Keenan Allen is off the board, as well as Tyreek Hill was selected before my pick of James Conner. We should probably also note that Mark Andrews is gone, so we've got 2 tight ends off the board. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the tight end position, right? Pitts, Kittle, Waller, Schultz, all available still. So really that top second tier of tight ends after Kelsey and Andrews is available. I'm really looking at guys like Goddard, Dawson Knox, Zach Ertz, Henry, and Gesicki. I mean, you guys know traditionally I like to go for a mid-round tight end and spend those higher draft selections on running backs and or receivers. And for me, I really think you can get really good value out of a guy like Dallas Goedert or Dawson Knox. Those are really my 2 top tight end targets, and I like pairing them with a Hunter Henry or a Mike Gesicki, or even a late round flyer like an Albert O, an Irv Smith, a Cole Kmet. I mean, you guys name it. There are plenty of other late round guys that you can take a dart throw out if you're not completely confident in your tight end one. All right, Akers is gone, Pittman's gone, Elliott's gone, Monty's gone, so we need to draft us a wide receiver, man. AJ Brown offers a lot of nice upside here. Jalen Waddle's hanging around as well. I think I gotta go Waddle here. I think Waddle's my favorite player on the board, but Mike Williams is really tempting. I can't emphasize it enough, but let's go with Waddle, try and get some consistency there. And I'll tell you, man, if Williams is available in the next round, I think that we're going to have to take a shot on him. But the other guy I like here a lot is DK Metcalf as well, but there's going to be plenty of value at the receiver position as the draft moves on. Some other notable names, I mean, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, just kind of shaky quarterback play, and McLaurin as well. So I like Waddle just a hair bit more, but don't get me wrong. I mean, you could argue there's shaky quarterback play with Tua and the Dolphins as well, but I just like their chemistry. I really like Waddle. He's been a player that I've really been happy to go out and select in mock drafts in this current off season. All right, so let's take a break at receiver. We're going to be going back to the running back position at 46. The guys I like to land here, I'd love to get ETN as an RB3. I don't mind AJ Dillon, but a Mitchell or Josh Jacobs are available. Those are our top targets, and then I would say ETN and Dillon become our next top targets. All right, so 4th round is finished out, and there goes Travis Etienne. So we won't be landing Etienne. I mean, I'm telling you guys, and there goes Eli Mitchell. So AJ Dillon becomes my top target, and I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I mean, Dillon has been another player that I have been loving to target overall. I think he's going to have a great season. I think really when you break down his stats in comparison to Aaron Jones last season, guys, they are very similar overall, and both of these running backs should be more involved next season with no Devontae Adams on that team. So I don't have a problem whatsoever making him my RB3, regardless of it's a 10-man or a 12-man league. And an 8-man is probably a different story. I'd like him more as an RB4 or 5. But I'll tell you, I mean, if I can land AJ Dillon as my RB4, I'm going to be extremely happy. I mean, Josh Jacobs sitting here. Let's go Jacobs, and let's see if we can land AJ Dillon as an RB4. Let's see if we can go receiver in the 6th round and still get AJ Dillon to fall out into the 7th. And then after that, I can tell you guys we're going to need to go tight end and probably quarterback as well, as we're starting to see that run on quarterback possibly begin here. So Justin Herbert's gone in the 5th round, as well as Lamar Jackson, and we'll see how this thing shakes out at the position. So for me, going into this next round, I know I want to go receiver. DK Metcalf is the player that stands out to me, and I don't think Mike Williams will be available, but if he is, we're going Mike Williams all day long. I mean, it's not a knock on Metcalf, but I just can't pass up that upside, especially with having 2 receivers who I think will be very consistent in Diggs and Waddle. Williams just that perfect boomer bust weekly bench player. I mean, I got no problem with Mike Williams whatsoever, but Metcalf becomes a top target for me as well. So J.K. Dobbins gone, Miles Sanders gone. I don't know if we're going to see A.J. Dillon fall out to the 7th. with how much running back is starting to dry up. Let's take a look here. I mean, we still got Damian Harris hanging around in front of Dillon. I just don't know if we're going to see Dillon fall out at this point. So really for me, after that, we start to move into this next tier of Melvin Gordon, Rashad Penny, Tony Pollard. I still like the value of those guys where you can draft them. So, all right, let's take a look here. Patty Mahomes is gone as we move in to the 6th round. Let's just take a quick look. I mean, we've got all of our tight ends queued up here. I think we're still fine at tight end. I think we can realistically land another receiver and running back before hitting tight end and quarterback. Let's take a look at quarterback. I mean, looking at the rankings, they have moved Burrow up. Burrow was a little bit further back overall, but I like Burrow's value and I like Jalen Hurts' value. If we don't land either of those guys, we're probably going to be moving into this next tier of Brady, Prescott, Stafford, and Wilson, which I am completely fine with. I mean, they've got Brady, Wilson, and Prescott pretty low. I will take any of those guys all day long. All right, Mike Williams and DK Metcalf are gone. Both players gone. So there's some nice names here, some interesting names, but this is a point in this strategy where I'm going to revert to the opposite. I'm going to go running back here. I'm going to land AJ Dillon, and then in the next round, I'm going to land a receiver. So regardless, we're still going to start this draft, right, with 4 running backs and 3 receivers, which is where we would have been anyways if we were going to go tight end and quarterback in the following round. So like I said, Mike Williams, Metcalf, love both those names. They both get selected there. So for me now, moving into the 7th, my top target becomes Hollywood Brown. Be really happy to land him here. I mean, there are some other good names. Allen Robinson, Jerry Jeudy were both available. I like both those guys. But for me, I would rather take the value at running back and go A.J. Dillon and go ahead and move into the 7th round with 4 running backs. We can really take a long breather at the position now. Go out and land another receiver. I think we have a strong chance to land Hollywood Brown here and then turn around and get our quarterback and tight end. I'm thinking I'd like to take some value at quarterback and go with quarterback first. We still got Goddard and Knox hanging around, and I mean, that still gives us a strong chance to land. You know, let's say we don't land Goddard or Knox, still gives us a strong chance to land Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, or Mike Gesicki, or any combination of the 2 to 3 players, right? So Hollywood Brown goes here. So looking at receivers hanging around, right? We can go for some upside here, go for a player like Amon-Ra St. Brown. We can go for maybe a little bit of a dart throw with Juju Smith-Schuster. I think probably the best available player is actually Brandon Cooks, the Houston Texans, who just gets selected right there. So I like Elijah Moore, once again, going for some upside. Darnell Mooney hanging around, I think is a great option. But the 2 mid to late round guys that I have been loving all offseason long, hands down, Hunter Renfrow and Devonta Smith. I mean, if I can come out of these next couple of rounds with both those guys, I'll be really, really happy. So we'll see who's available by the time that I draft here. We might be in a position where we go for maybe some upside and maybe take Amon-Ra St. Brown or Elijah Moore. But really, I think if we can land Darnell Mooney here, as Joe Burrow is selected, we still have a good shot at getting Mooney and going ahead and getting Renfrow or Smith. I don't know. As we move into the 7th round, right, and I talk about this with this strategy a lot, there comes a point where you just don't want to hurt your roster trying to stick to a specific strategy too strictly, right? And at the moment, Jalen Hurts hanging around is a really high value. So is Kyler Murray. I mean, both of those guys hanging around, let's see, quite a few teams in front of it, are actually all but one team in front of us has a quarterback. So I'm going to hold off, and I am going to go Darnell Mooney here. I'm going to go ahead and select a receiver. I'm going to hold off, and I'm going to see if one of those 2 quarterbacks falls out to us in the 8th round. I think it's very, very possible. I think there's a chance that Joel with the Golden State Warriors logo goes quarterback here, and we can still land either Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts. I'd be happier with Hurts. I mean, I love Kyler Murray, don't get me wrong. I'd be happy with either of them, especially in the 8th round. But we'll see what happens here. We'll take the additional receiver, and Darnell Mooney, who's going to be the #1 receiver for the Chicago Bears, undoubtedly has a great chemistry with Justin Hurts, so I'm fine with that selection as a wide receiver 3. And we'll see if this gamble pays off or not. I mean, you could argue I could go ahead and just snag up Kyler Murray, and Darnell Mooney is still available moving into the 8th round. But I mean, I'll be honest, tonight, we've got some active drafters and they are doing their thing. And I won't be surprised when we saw Hollywood Brown go against his ADP. We saw Brandon Cooks go against his ADP. So I wouldn't have been surprised if Mooney was selected. And there goes Kyler Murray off the board. So we'll see if Jalen Hurts falls out here moving into the 8th round. And at that point, there are some receivers that I really like. I might end up going double receiver in the 9th and 10th and really holding off at tight end and going for, somewhat of a combination between Zach Ertz, Henry, and Gesicki. But I really do like the value of Goddard and Knox. We'll see how long they hang around as well as we move into the 8th round. All right, man, if you guys are enjoying today's content, be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as well if you are new to the channel. All right, the Buffalo Bills defense off of the board here pretty early. Tom Brady goes and Jalen Hurts goes. Our gamble did not pay off. No way. All right, let's go tight end. Give me Dawson Knox here. Let's go tight end. Let's get tight end out of the way. And let's sit back here. Let's see what happens. I think we still have a very strong chance of landing Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson. And if we don't, we're just going to take Matthew Stafford off the board and move on with our day. Man, I would have loved... I mean, listen, guys. For me personally, there's almost zero reason to draft 2 quarterbacks in a single quarterback redraft league, right? I think that it's okay to roster 2 quarterbacks throughout the season if that second quarterback comes from the waiver wire and you're planning on taking that value away from other teams and or just using that quarterback to stream when your respective QB1 is on their bye week. Outside of that, if you're drafting 2 quarterbacks, maybe for trade value, right? I mean, like, this team's got Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Are you really going to want to sit there on a weekly basis and decide, am I going to start Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts this week? Am I going to start Josh Allen and have 25 points in my starting quarterback and then have Jalen Hurts on my bench and also have 25 points? I mean, that just comes to the point where a trade value is what you're looking at the end of the day, right? There are a couple quarterbacks who I like a second quarterback behind, Kyler Murray being one of them, just with his injury history, with that midseason slump we usually see out of him. I think you could argue for Lamar Jackson after last season in that same category, but outside of that, there's really not a lot of reason, in my humble opinion, outside of what we just talked about, to go after 2 top-tier quarterbacks, right? If you're worried about injuries in general, regardless of the quarterback, then go for a Kirk Cousins late, go for a Dak Prescott late, go for some upside in Trey Lance late, heck, go for Zach Wilson, go for Mac Jones, right? But going out and spending a high draft pick on a Jalen Hurts when you already have Josh Allen, or a high draft pick on Tom Brady when you already have Lamar Jackson, doesn't necessarily make the most sense. All right, we lose Prescott and we lose Wilson. I'm not surprised by that. I think we'll just try and land my guy Matthew staph infection and get this thing over with. Let's say we don't land Stafford, and we don't. He's off the board. So now Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins. And don't forget about the bad man himself, Aaron Rodgers. Let's see if Rodgers will fall out into the 10th round. I mean, at this point, we're seeing a lot of quarterbacks gone. We've got 2 teams in front of us with double quarterbacks. So I'll take the chance, guys. And Aaron Rodgers' entire career, where he's played at least 15 games, he has never not finished as a top 10 quarterback. I don't care if Davante Adams is gone. I don't have a problem going after Aaron Rodgers. All right, give me Hunter Renfrow here because we're moving away from the quarterback position. And I do think we need to go ahead and just secure a quarterback in the 10th round, get it over with, but let's get our 4th receiver in Hunter Renfrow, who had a phenomenal season last year. Speaking of Davante Adams, guys, I get it. Adams is on the Raiders. I'm not worried about Hunter Renfrow whatsoever from a full PPR standpoint or even a half PPR standpoint at that. All right, so taking a quick look at the team, we got Diggs, Waddle, Najee, James Conner, Dawson Knox, Josh Jacobs, AJ Dillon, Darnell Mooney, and Hunter Renfrow. I think it's a good start. I really do. I like the start to this team 100%. All right, so let's start to take a look here. Let's get a couple QBs queued up. This is the tier of quarterback we'd like to finish in. and I think we can easily hit Rodgers or Carr. Let's take a look at the running back position and start to look at some later round value. For me, I like James Cook. I like Michael Carter. I like Henderson. You could take a chance, go and handcuff with Madison. I kind of like Robinson, but I don't know. Robinson's got to come at a certain price for me. Cordero Patterson has really moved back in ADP on Yahoo, which is very interesting. Really, in most platforms, I think all platforms, he's been switched from RB/receiver to just running back overall. Receiver, looking at things, man, there are some really, really good receivers hanging around. Part of me wants to take a chance here. I mean, Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin hanging around. Give me Godwin here. Let's see if we can go one more round and still land Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers. I think it's very, very possible. So, full PPR or half PPR. Look at this receiving room, right? Diggs, Waddle, Mooney, Renfro, Godwin. I love that receiving room. Running backs, we got Harris, Connor, Jacobs, and Dillon. I'd still like to land one more running back. I really would like to land James Cook. I really, really would. But every round that goes by, I'm saying, man, I think we need to go ahead and select our quarterback. I mean, just for fun, I might pass on quarterback again, just for practice to see how long it takes for that last tier of quarterbacks, Trey Lance, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, to get 8 into. And I really think that we could go ahead and probably take Cook and still land one of those 4 quarterbacks and really roll with a late round QB value, which I really don't have too much of an issue with. I think a lot of these teams, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, every team right now has a quarterback and multiple teams have 2 quarterbacks. So I really think we have a good chance of continuing to stack up at the skill position and still land one of those quarterbacks that I really like going into the 12th round. I think at that point, I'll go with a QB in the 12th because, and let's go ahead. Let's take the chance here. Give me Cook. And then I think we have a very strong, I mean, there's 2 teams in front of us with 2 quarterbacks. 2 teams, right? If I was Joel, I would consider like a Derek Carr here. I think if you have Mahomes, like, you're fine. You're 100% fine. Joel, maybe consider a second quarterback, a Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr, but there's no reason whatsoever for either of these 2 teams to select a third quarterback. I mean, 2 quarterbacks is one thing. You can definitely debate either way. I don't have a problem with the debate either way, but 3 quarterbacks, I mean, come on. If you draft 3 quarterbacks, we got a real big issue. So Devonta Smith, a great value there. I mean, I would have loved to still land Smith on this team. There goes Trey Lance. Like, I like that quarterback room a lot. I like having Kyler Murray as a solidified starter who has some injury issues, who has, a mid to end season slump, which are usually not a result of his talent at quarterback, but a result of those injuries, right? So I love taking that upside pick with Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is a great QB to stack with Kyler Murray. All right, so let's go ahead. I mean, we might, you could argue we should go 2 quarterbacks, right? If that's another situation where you can consider 2 quarterbacks, I guess, right? Is if you just don't think you have enough talent at the position that you want to go ahead and get 2 guys and see who shapes out better and then drop and or trade one of them, 6 weeks or so, or maybe after that respective quarterback's bye week, right? But let's go Aaron Rodgers here. I still got faith in Rodgers. Derek Carr is off the board here, so there's another team with 2 quarterbacks. I mean, I like Carr or Rodgers right there at that spot. I don't mind either one. But like I said, I still have a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to be fine this season. All right, so let's take a look at the team, man. I think that this is a beautiful squad overall. We got A-Rod at quarterback. Looking at the receivers, we got Diggs, Waddle, Mooney, Renfro, and Chris Godwin when he comes back healthy. Najee Harris, James Conner, Josh Jacobs, A.J. Dillon, and my guy Jared Cook. And we got Dawson Knox at the tight end position. So part of me wants to go for a second tight end just because Knox had some injury issues last season. But really, when we look at the board, I mean, Russell Gage is a player that really stands out to me. I think he's someone who's in line to have a great season. Looking at running back, I like Henderson, but I think we've got a really good running back room overall. So, and Russell Gage does get selected there. Let's just take another look at receiver. I mean, I like Tyler Boyd. I like Christian Kirk. Tim Patrick hanging out down there as well. But let's take a chance. I mean, I like Gesicki and I like Henry, but I'll take a chance on Gesicki here, regardless if it's full or half PPR. I do think he's going to get plenty of targets within that offense next season. Hunter Henry, similar to Dawson Knox, a little bit more tight end dependent overall. All right. So this is a nice squad. I really, really like this team overall. Harris, Diggs, Connor, Waddle, Jacobs, Dillon, Mooney, Knox, Renfro, Godwin, Cook, Rodgers, and Gesicki. I mean, a little bit of a late round quarterback team, but I think it's a really nice team. I mean, the more and more I do like a 10-man team draft, the more and more I like the idea of going with a late round quarterback. And really, man, if I have Aaron Rodgers, I'm starting Aaron Rodgers every single week, and then I'm playing someone on the bye week. I mean, you guys can let me know in the comments down below. If you don't have the same faith in Aaron Rodgers, I get it. I'm fine with that. All right. So for me sitting here, right, we could take a kicker in defense, but let's just go ahead and switch things up. Let's take an extra receiver. Let's take Tyler Boyd, half PPR, full PPR. I love Tyler Boyd all day long. And then we'll just end things out with either, let's just end it out with a kicker, take the best available kicker, and then let's just say we would stream a defense for this respective squad. All right, if I could click on the right team, there we go. So there's your team. Rodgers, Diggs, Waddle, Harris, Connor, Knox, Jacobs, Dillon, Mooney, Renfro, Godwin, Cook, Gesicki, Boyd. Love this team, man. Absolutely love this team. I think we have a great receiver room, a great running back room. I think the running back room is absolutely filthy. I mean, so is the receiver room, let's be honest. Tight ends, I think we're in a good spot. I mean, going late round quarterback, going late round tight end, I think that we still are in a very, very good spot at both positions. Aaron Rodgers, Dawson Knox, and Mike Gesicki. I think it's a good team. I love everything about this team. Like I said, we will just plan on dropping one player and streaming the defense throughout the year. I have no problem with the streaming method at the defensive position. Let's take a look at kickers. I mean, there's plenty of names hanging around. I mean, we got Mason Crosby pretty far down, honestly. Graham Gano had a decent season last year as well. I mean, I like Robbie Gould. Greg Zuerlein had a great season with Dallas with the Jets. Now, but overall, we don't need to evaluate this too deeply. I actually really like Chris Boswell. He had a good year. And I like Jake Elliott. He had a good year last year as well. And Ryan Suckup, part of the Buccaneers. But I'm going to go Jake Elliott here because he did have a great season. I mean, let's see. Last season, he had 150 points. Robbie Gould had 112. Greg Joseph had a really underrated year, 156. Prater, 154. Suckup, 138. Hopkins, 147. Rodrigo didn't play the full year, so just 45. So looking through different players, Boswell actually had the most points out of all of those guys. So really, you could take any of these kickers. Like I said, we don't really need to evaluate it too deeply. Let's just take Boswell based on last year's statistics, and let's call that a wrap for today's mock draft. Thank you so much, Made4TV_ for recommending this draft. I'm so excited, man, to get you guys ready for the 2022 fantasy football season. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and be sure to join our Discord to get updates on when we are conducting mock drafts, as well as our mock draft invites. Our subscriber mock drafts, hands down, are the most realistic mock drafts from round one all the way through till the end of the draft in comparison to any mock drafts we do on the channel. They are extremely competitive, and we would love to have you guys be a part of future subscriber mock drafts. On the way out, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, let me know what you guys thought of today's draft as a whole. And of course, like I said, if you guys have any mock draft recommendations or requests that you guys would like to see that would help you out, please let me know. I would love to get them queued up and on the schedule for you guys. And that'll do it for today's video, man. And with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening, and remember, you guys saw it here on The Catch. And